Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026.
Here we are.
And I had to be honest with you, I woke up this morning, checked my feed, and just felt tired.
The data fatigue is real. It's a known condition at this point.
It's not just the data, it's the velocity of it. I mean, it just never stops.
No.
We've got headlines about Palantir using AI to optimize immigration flows, whatever that means.
It's just a terrifying phrase.
It is. Then OpenAI is rolling out these new age prediction protocols for safety, and my entire timeline is just, I mean, it's absolutely screaming about agentic AI finally hitting the mainstream.
It's here.
It feels like we are living in a science fiction novel that's being written way, way too fast.
Oh, we are. And you know, that's actually the perfect backdrop for what we're diving into today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because in this massive stack of research we went through about hyperloops and neural networks and this thing called calciism.
Right, this new economic theory about the age of abundance.
Exactly. Amidst all of that, the most disruptive piece of technology we found this week wasn't a chip. It wasn't an algorithm.
It was a blog post.
A blog post from a writer named Paramendra on the Netizen platform. And it's titled 100 Questions That Lead to Understanding.
And look, before you roll your eyes and think we're doing some kind of, Cosmo quiz deep dive, you have to hold on.
Right. This is not that.
Not at all. Because the author frames this list as an engine, specifically an engine of intimacy.
I love that term, an engine.
The whole premise is that while our connectivity is at an all-time high, thanks to Starlink and everything else, our ability to actually know each other, it's at an all-time low.
That is the paradox of 2026, isn't it? We have abundant intelligence, abundant energy, abundant goods, if you believe the economic forecasts anyway.
A big if.
A huge if. But we are absolutely suffering from a scarcity of meaning. And so this list, it isn't just a set of icebreakers. It's a piece of social software. It's designed to patch that bug in our collective operating system.
Social software. I like that. So, the mission today is to reverse engineer this engine.
Let's pop the hood.
We're going to look at the mechanics of why asking these specific questions can accelerate trust, and then we're going to walk through the questions themselves.
And a fair warning to you, some of these are brutal.
Oh, they are designed to be. They are absolutely designed to pierce the armor we all wear.
Okay, let's start with the methodology then. The author outlines 5 pillars for why this works as a group building engine. The first one is acceleration.
Right. So think about how you make a friend currently. Right now, in 2026.
It's slow.
It's glacial. You meet, you talk about the weather, then maybe you talk about sports, then work complaints. It's this slow, incremental wade into the shallow end of a relationship.
And it can take months, sometimes years to get to the real stuff.
The real stuff.
Yeah.
Your fears, your traumas, your actual, honest-to-God dreams.
And who has years anymore? Everything's on demand. We want one-day delivery for friendship? Exactly. This engine is a compressor.
Wow.
It's designed to take that timeline and just collapse it. The author claims you can achieve a year's worth of bonding in a single session.
A single session. That's a bold claim.
It is. And the mechanism is what he calls structured vulnerability. You aren't just waiting for the right moment to open up. The prompt demands it. It forces the issue, but it does it in a safe, consented way. Everyone's opted in.
Okay, so that's acceleration. The second pillar really stood out to me. Power equalization. And the text has this rule in quotes. There are no experts here.
This is so crucial. Think about using this in a corporate setting or in a hierarchical organization like a church.
Right.
Usually the CEO or the leader, they hold the floor. They have the answers. But when the question is, what is your greatest fear, or when did you last cry in front of someone, your MBA doesn't help you.
Your stock options don't help you.
Nothing helps you. It strips everyone down to human status. It's the great leveler.
It totally prevents the status games. You can't outrank someone on the topic of their own grief or their own joy.
You can't. And that leads directly into the third mechanic, which the author calls natural sorting.
This is the idea of affinity clusters, right? Not based on jobs, but on something else.
Yes. In a typical networking event, how do we group people? By demographic.
Ooh, you're both in marketing, or you're both roughly 30.
Exactly. It's all surface level. This engine groups people by interiority. By what's on the inside, you start to realize, oh, that person is terrified of the same thing I am. Or, wow, we both value integrity over money.
So you bond based on the software of your soul, not the hardware of your job title.
You beautifully put. And the author says it becomes a discernment tool. You can form these long-term groups based on a real deep connection, not just, because you live in the same zip code.
Which makes sense. That brings us to pillar 4, scalability.
The versatility of it. This list isn't just for one type of group. The source says it works for faith-based groups, for recovery circles, for youth ministries, corporate leadership tracks.
Because the questions are fundamentally human.
They're universal. The context changes, but the core struggles and hopes don't.
And all of this funnels into the ultimate goal, the 5th pillar, which is moving from attendance to belonging.
And that distinction is the key takeaway for any community builder listening to this. It's everything.
Explain that. What's the real difference?
Attendance is just physical presence. You can attend a church or a company all-hands meeting for a decade and never, ever feel like you belong.
You're just a name on a roster.
You're just there. Belonging, on the other hand, is a function of being known. It's the feeling that if you didn't show up, you would be missed. Not your function, but you.
Because someone knows your story.
Someone knows your story. That's the metric. That is what creates retention. People stay because they are known, not because the programming is so great.
Okay, so that's the theory. That's the engine's design. Let's get our hands dirty with the actual questions.
Let's do it.
The list is broken into 4 phases, which I really appreciate. You don't start a first date by asking about someone's biggest regret.
Generally inadvisable, yes. You have to warm up the engine first.
So phase I is foundational and relational. It's questions 1 through 36. And it starts with what looks like fluff, but I suspect it isn't.
Oh, it's absolutely not fluff. It's the imagination cluster. It's designed to feel safe, but it's gathering data the whole time.
Take question 1. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
Classic.
It's classic conversational fodder.
On the surface, yes. But clinically, it's a value test. Who do you choose? A political leader. That shows you value power or social change.
The comedian.
You value levity. You might be exhausted by the seriousness of the world. A deceased parent.
You're grieving or you value history and legacy.
Exactly. It's a Rorschach test disguised as a fun, low-stakes question. It tells the room what you're hungry for.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's another one in this early cluster. If you could wake up tomorrow with any one new ability or quality, what would it be?
Again, it's revealing a deficit, but in a positive frame. If you ask for the ability to fly, what you're really saying is you want freedom.
If you ask for the ability to speak every language.
You crave connection. You want to break down barriers. If you asked for invulnerability, you're telling the group that you feel unsafe in the world.
So you are confessing what you lack without having to use the words, I feel inadequate or I feel trapped.
Precisely. It's a backdoor into the psyche.
Then the list moves into what the author calls the self-audit cluster. And this one made me laugh nervously because I felt so seen.
Which one?
Before making a phone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? Why?
The social anxiety check.
I do this. I mean, I rehearse ordering a pizza. I rehearse leaving voicemails. It's ridiculous.
But admitting that creates immediate empathy. It's such a simple human thing. It signals, I care about how I am perceived, or I am afraid of making an error.
It humanizes you.
Totally. It tells the group, I am not as polished as I might look. It's a small crack in the armor.
There's another question here about joy and vulnerability that I found really poetic. When did you last sing to yourself? To someone else?
Singing is such a primal act. Singing to yourself is about self-seething or just pure, uninhibited joy. It shows that you have a relationship with yourself.
That you're comfortable in your own skin, at least sometimes.
But singing to someone else, unless you are a professional performer, that is an act of just naked vulnerability.
Breaks the cool facade immediately.
Instantly. You cannot look cool while warbling a lullaby or a pop song to a friend. It's impossible. It's an offering.
Okay, so as we get deeper into phase I, the tone definitely shifts. We start hitting the mortality and connection cluster.
The stakes get higher.
Yeah. Question 19. If you knew you'd die in 1 year, what would you change?
This is the classic memento mori. Remember, you must die. It's not a morbid question, it's a clarification question.
How so?
It forces a value audit. If your answer is, I would quit my job and move to the coast, the immediate unspoken follow-up that everyone in the group is thinking is,
Then why aren't you doing that now?
exactly. It highlights the friction. It highlights the gap between the life you're living and the life you value. It exposes the compromises you are making every single day.
And it does it without judgment. It just puts the data on the table.
Right. And then there's a real heavy one later in the section. Question 35. Whose death in your family would you find most disturbing? Why?
Yeah, that is a heavy hitter for phase I.
It's asking you to identify your emotional anchor. Who is the load-bearing wall in your psychological house?
What do you mean by that?
Is it your mother because she holds the family memory? Is it your child because they represent the future? Is it your partner because they're your daily witness? It's not just asking who do you love the most, it's asking who keeps you sane.
It's a question about dependency, really, about who you've built your life around.
Yes, and admitting dependency is very, very hard for modern people. We all like to think we are these autonomous, self-sufficient units. This question proves we are not. We are all deeply interconnected.
The phase then wraps up with what the source calls immediate connection questions. These feel very active.
They're designed to build a bond in the present moment.
Like question 25, make 3 true we statements. That feels a bit like a psychological hack.
It is a psychological hack, and a brilliant one. By forcing you to say, we are all sitting in this room, we're all feeling a little nervous, we all want to understand each other better, you are linguistically building a tribe.
You bridge the gap between I and you.
And you create a temporary we. It creates safety. It's much harder to attack or judge someone you have just explicitly defined as part of your we.
Then comes the final trust fall of phase I. Share a personal problem and ask for advice.
This is the moment that changes the dynamic from performance to collaboration. Up until now, you're mostly broadcasting.
Right, you're telling your story.
When I ask you for advice, I am elevating you. I am saying, I trust your judgment. I believe you have wisdom that could help me. It empowers the listener and it humbles the speaker.
It tunes the group into a support network.
Instantly, not in theory. In practice, right there in the room.
All right, let's move to phase II, identity and values. This is questions 37 through 52. The source says this is where we move from getting to know you to understanding who you are at the core.
Exactly. If phase I was about mapping the past and the present relationships, phase II is about mapping the internal landscape, your core operating principles.
And question 37 sets the tone perfectly. What dream feels almost too big to say out loud?
I love that phrasing. Too big to say out loud.
It implies that we usually shrink ourselves to fit in, to be socially acceptable.
We do. It confronts what they call tall poppy syndrome, the idea that you shouldn't stand out too much or you'll get cut down. This question gives you explicit permission to be arrogant, to be wildly ambitious, to say you want to change the world.
And in the context of 2026, with this whole age of abundance framing, that feels vital.
It's everything. If we have the tools to do almost anything, the most important question becomes, what do you actually want to do? What is worthy of these powerful tools?
It pairs so well with its inverse, which also shows up here. What scares you most about the future?
Ambition and fear. They are the two primary drivers of human behavior. The gas and the brake.
So if you know someone's biggest dream and their biggest nightmare.
You can predict about 90% of their major life decisions. You understand their motivation engine. You know what they're running toward and what they're running away from.
The list then moves into a cluster called legacy and revision. Question 43 is a tough one. If you could undo one decision, which would it be?
Regret. It's a powerful and often shameful emotion. We have this whole culture built around the idea of no regrets.
Right. It's a tattoo. It's a mantra.
But it's not realistic. It's not human. This question forces you to admit a mistake. But more importantly, it shows what you've learned from it. You can't answer this question well without demonstrating growth.
You have to say, I did X, and as a result, I learned that I shouldn't have.
Right. It's a story of transformation disguised as a story of failure.
Speaking of transformation, question 52 is a personal favorite of mine. What belief did you once hold strongly but no longer do?
Intellectual humility. In our era of intense polarization, and remember, the sidebar of the source material explicitly mentions political tribalism. Admitting you changed your mind is a radical act.
Why radical?
Because it signals to the group, I am not a fixed object. I am capable of updating my software based on new data. It shows you're open.
It makes it safe for others to change their minds, too. If you, a person I respect, can admit you used to be wrong about something big, it gives me permission to admit that I might be wrong about something right now.
Precisely. It sets a group norm of fluidity over rigidity. It kills dogma in the room before it can even start.
There are also these mirror questions here, like, what part of yourself are you still learning to accept? Or what is the hardest truth you've faced about yourself?
These are about integration. Carl Jung talked about this. We all have parts of ourselves we don't like, the shadow self.
Our temper, our laziness, our jealousy.
All of it. And by admitting, I am still learning to accept that I am a deeply jealous person at times. You take the power away from the shame of it. You put it on the table where it can be examined.
It stops being the secret monster in the
It
closet.
just becomes a part of you, a part you're working on.
Moving on to phase 3, dreams and inner growth. This covers questions 53 through 68. This section feels like the therapy session part of the list.
It is the internal audit. It deals with the friction between who you were, who you are now, and who you're trying to become. It's all about the process of growth.
Question 60 really stuck out to me here. What have you forgiven yourself for? And then it's followed by the chaser. What are you still working on forgiving yourself for?
Self-forgiveness. It's often so much harder than forgiving other people. We are our own harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossible standards
We replay our mistakes over and over.
endlessly. So vocalizing this releases some of that shame. When you say out loud, I'm trying to forgive myself for not being there when my father died, or I'm trying to forgive myself for that huge financial mistake, you suddenly realize you aren't the only one in the room carrying a heavy bag.
It creates a Me Too moment, but in the best sense of that phrase. Oh, you carry a bag, I carry a bag too.
Exactly. It completely levels the playing field of human imperfection.
And then there's question 63. What question do you wish people asked you more often?
This is a needs analysis. It's basically a cheat code for friendship and for caring for people.
A cheat code how?
The person is literally telling you, this is how I want to be seen, this is how I want to be loved. Maybe they want to be asked about their art, which they never talk about, or their sobriety. Or maybe it's as simple as, I wish people would ask me, are you actually okay? And wait for the real answer.
I feel like we guess at this so often with the people in our lives. We try to guess what they want to talk about. It just cuts the Gordian knot. Just tell me what to ask you.
It's efficient. And remember, efficiency is a theme of our time. Why waste time asking about the weather if the person next to you is dying to talk about the novel they're secretly writing?
And then there's the flip side, question 64. What question do you wish people stopped asking you?
Boundaries. This is where the group learns where the sore spots are. For a single person, it might be, when are you going to get married?
For an entrepreneur, so is it profitable yet?
For a grieving person, how are you doing in that cheerful, expectant way? It helps the group avoid stepping on landmines. It says, this area of my life is currently closed for construction. Please respect that.
Phase 3 also gets into the idea of risk. What risk changed your life?
And you have to remember, in 2026, risk looks really different than it did 20 years ago. Is the risk quitting a stable job when an AI might be able to do the next one you find?
Is the risk disconnecting from the grid and losing your social relevance?
Exactly. Understanding someone's relationship with risk tells you how they navigate chaos and uncertainty. Some people are cliff jumpers. Others are meticulous bridge builders. You need to know who is who in your group, in your community.
It also covers habits and social friction. What habit do you wish you could break? That just feels like accountability waiting to happen.
It is. If you answer that question honestly in a group of people you're building trust with, you are implicitly asking for help.
If I say, I wish I could stop doom scrolling for 2 hours every night.
Now the group knows. Now, next week, someone can gently ask, hey, how's the doom scrolling going? It's a form of loving accountability.
All right, brace yourself. We are now entering phase 4, resilience, meaning, and wisdom. This is questions 69 through 100. The source calls these the heavy hitters.
And they are. These are the questions that synthesize a lifetime of experience. You can't really answer these well if you haven't lived a little. They require you to look back at the whole arc of your life and find the patterns.
Let's look at the decision-making and costs cluster. Question 72. What choice do you not regret, even though it cost you?
That is the definition of integrity.
Say more about that.
Integrity is doing the right thing even when it hurts, when it's inconvenient, when it costs you something tangible. When you hear someone's answer to this, you know their bottom line. You know what they cannot be bought out of.
It might be, I reported my boss for harassment and I lost my job, but I don't regret it.
Or, I left a wealthy partner because there was no love and I was broke for years. It defines their character in a way that almost no other question can.
And then, question 74. This one stopped me cold. It's a two-parter.
Yeah.
First, what is something you've created that you're proud of?
Okay, that's a standard question.
Standard. But it's followed by, what is something you've destroyed, and how do you feel about it now?
What have you destroyed? It's a shocking prompt, isn't it?
It really is.
Because our culture is obsessed with creation. content creation, wealth creation, building things, startups. But humans are also destroyers. We destroy relationships, we destroy trust, we destroy opportunities. Sometimes we destroy physical things out of rage or desperation.
It forces you to look at your own shadow, your own capacity for harm.
Yes. And asking, how do you feel about it now, allows for so much nuance. Sometimes destruction is necessary and creative. You destroyed a toxic marriage to save yourself. You destroyed a bad habit. You destroyed a wall that was blocking your path.
But sometimes it's just regret.
Sometimes it's pure regret. I destroyed my relationship with my brother over a stupid argument about money. Acknowledging your capacity for destruction keeps you humble. It prevents you from ever pretending that you're one of the good guys. We are all complex. We all have this capacity.
Phase 4 also brings in intergenerational wisdom. I love this. What have you learned from someone much younger than you and from someone much older?
This is so vital for the Netizen concept of community the author is pushing. We are often so segregated by age. You have schools for the young and retirement homes for the old, and not much in between.
And wisdom needs to flow both ways.
It has to. The younger generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they understand the fluidity of identity, the nature of the digital landscape in a way that older generations simply can't. They see things we miss.
And the older generation, what's their unique contribution?
They understand cycles. They understand that this crisis, whatever it is, will probably pass because they have seen 5 others just like it. They understand endurance and loss and patience.
So you need both perspectives to survive.
Absolutely. And you only listen to young, you run off a cliff with enthusiasm. If you only listen to the old, you never move from the starting line.
Then we have the holding on versus letting go cluster. Question 76. What have you held on to longer than you should have?
Oh, this is a big one. Grudges. Old clothes that don't fit. A self-image that no longer fits. A dream that isn't even yours anymore. Maybe it was your parents' dream for you.
This is about identifying the dead weight in your life.
Exactly. You can't enter this prophesied age of abundance if your hands are full of garbage from the past. You have to drop something old to be able to pick up something new. It's a basic law of physics and a basic law of the soul.
Finally, the list moves to defining the present state. This feels like a final check-in. Question 92. What does success mean to you now?
The key word there is now.
It implies evolution.
It implies your definition has changed. And usually, for most people past a certain age, the definition shifts from accumulation, more money, more titles, more followers, to something like contribution or peace or just time, having unscheduled time.
What does home mean to you now is another one. That's a powerful question in a world of digital nomads and constant remote work.
Home might not be a physical place anymore. For a lot of people, it's not. It might be a person. It might be a state of mind. It might be wherever I have a good Wi-Fi connection. But answering it, defining it for yourself, it grounds you.
And the very last cluster is a diagnosis. What do you need more of right now? And what do you need less of right now?
It's so simple, but it's incredibly actionable. I need more sleep. I need less noise. I need more unstructured time with my kids. I need less responsibility at work.
If you're a leader or a friend or a partner, this is gold.
It's a gift. The person is giving you an instruction manual for how to care for them today. It's not abstract. It's a grocery list for the soul.
So we've taken apart the engine, we've looked at all the gears and the pistons, but I want to zoom out again to the context this was written in. Paramendra, the author, surrounds this list with some pretty lofty, almost esoteric ideas. He talks about Kalkiism and global AI education.
Right. The blog post doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a much larger worldview that sees humanity as being in a fundamental transition. This age of abundance isn't just a catchy phrase for him. It's a theological and economic prediction that we are on the verge of solving material scarcity.
But there's a massive tension there, isn't there? We're talking about high-tech, abundance, AI agents doing our work, fusion energy, whatever comes next. But the solution he proposes for our deepest human problem is just talking, just asking questions.
That is the juxtaposition, and I think that's the whole point. The argument is that as technology accelerates and automates the what and the how, the value of high-touch, distinctly human interaction skyrockets.
It becomes the rarest resource.
It becomes the ultimate luxury good. If an AI can write your emails, predict your schedule, and even simulate a passable conversation, then genuine, unsimulated human presence and understanding, that becomes priceless.
Digital scarcity. When everything is a deepfake or automated, the real thing becomes the only thing of value.
Exactly. Look at the sidebar of the source material. It mentions lawsuits regarding social media addiction and the problem of digital alienation. We are drowning in connection, but we are starving for intimacy. This list is the antidote. It's a way to reclaim the human domain. It's a powerful claim that the most advanced technology is still the question mark.
The source mentions using this for practical things like relational discipleship or new member integration in an organization. The idea is that we can skip the polite, awkward 6-month phase of human relationships.
And why wouldn't we want to? In a world that moves this fast, the polite phase is a massive inefficiency. If you are forming a team to solve a hard problem or building a church community to support each other through hard times, you don't have 6 months to waste discussing the weather.
You need to get to the core of it.
You need to know, can I trust you? What are you afraid of? And what do you truly value? You need that data on day one.
It's almost like a vetting process for the soul.
It is. And it ensures that leaders especially are grounded. You can't effectively lead other people if you don't know who you are. And you cannot answer a question like, what is the hardest truth you've faced about yourself, without doing some serious mirror work. It filters out the narcissists, or at least it forces them to confront themselves in a public way.
I was really struck by the author's opening line from The Hook. The impending age of abundance was prophesied in the scriptures thousands of years ago. He gives this whole exercise a spiritual, almost prophetic weight.
It does.
It's not just a psychology trick from a blog post. It's framed as a form of preparation for something huge.
Preparation for maturity. Think about it. If you give a toddler $1 million or a stick of dynamite, the result is disaster. They don't have the maturity to handle the power.
Right.
If humanity is about to inherit godlike technological power, which is what agentic AI and these other technologies really represent, then we desperately need the emotional and spiritual maturity to handle it. We need to be grounded. These questions are a gymnasium for that maturity.
We're upgrading our external tech, so we have to upgrade our internal emotional operating system.
Or at least make sure it doesn't crash the whole system. We need to know what it means to be human when the machines can do everything else. And what it means to be human is to connect, to forgive, to regret, to hope, to dream, and to destroy. All of it.
So, practically speaking, for the listener who is tuning in, maybe they're driving to work right now or they're at the gym, what do they do with this? We aren't suggesting they print out all 100 questions and interrogate their spouse over dinner tonight.
No, please don't do that. That is an interrogation, not a date. And definitely do not bring a clipboard.
So what's the move?
The principle of structured vulnerability is portable. You can pick one. Just one question.
Only one.
Start with one. The next time you're at dinner with a friend or with a partner and the conversation hits that familiar lull, instead of complaining about the news or the weather, just try dropping one.
One of the phase 2 questions, maybe?
Yeah, something like, hey, random question, but what's a risk you took that totally changed your life?
It just
It
changes the temperature of the room, doesn't it?
Instantly. It's a signal. It signals that you are open for real business. It gives the other person permission to stop performing and start sharing.
I'm thinking about that one question from phase 3. What is one thing you've never said out loud but wish someone knew? I mean, imagine asking that to a parent you've known your whole life, but maybe you don't really know.
It's a key. It unlocks a room inside them they've probably been standing in for years, just waiting for someone to have the courage to knock on the door. And here is the crucial part, the part an AI cannot do. You have to actually listen to the answer.
Not just be waiting for your turn to speak.
No. An algorithm can predict what you might say. It can categorize your sentiment, but it cannot witness you. That is the uniquely human function. To witness another person's story is to give their experience existence. It's to say, I see you, you are real.
So that's the challenge then. In this coming age of abundance, don't let yourself starve for understanding. The technology is here. It's just a simple list of questions. The rest is up to you.
Well said.
We've linked the full Netizen post in the show notes. It's worth a read, even if it's just to answer a few of them for yourself in a quiet room.
Absolutely. It's a blueprint for belonging in a world that's making it harder and harder to do so.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.